But it's time we climbed back out of this rabbit hole, and headed back to cake, as we have been off on a tangent, and still have the exposing EMRA's article to rip through. So picking up where we left off. Far from sensitively approaching issues that actually impact the health, dignity and life of men, EMRAs have become notorious for their mad trolling skills, logical incoherence, and insistence on retaining privileges for the privileged. That's funny, because if you replaced EMRAs with the word feminists, it would be one of the best descriptions of feminism I've heard in a long time. Next. No longer a fringe movement constricted to static ideology, EMRAs have become a persistent, often violent force online, stooping to rape and death threats when defending their stance. What our author is doing here is just assuming that anyone who makes a rape or death threat is an EMRA. And this type of assumption is at the heart of most of the arguments against the men's rights movement, as we have just seen with Elliot, Rodger and the pickup artists. Their logic goes like this. Someone disagrees with you, then they must be an EMRA. Someone says something nasty to you, then they must be an EMRA. Someone criticizes feminism, then they must be an EMRA. Someone's a misogynist, then they must be an EMRA. An internet troll leaves a comment, then they must be an EMRA. It's almost as if they believe that anyone who doesn't believe exactly what they do, must automatically be an EMRA. It's a very, you are either with us or against us, type of mentality. And they just assume that anyone in the, against us, group, must automatically be an EMRA. And we see a funny example of this much later in this interview, although as I'm running out of time in this episode, that part will have to appear in part 41 of the series. But our author does give us a citation for the rape and death threats claim. It links to a Jezebel article titled, Rape and Death Threats, What Men's Rights Activists Really Look Like. The article reads, men's rights activists are rage-filled misogynists who claim feminists intentionally cover up issues like male rape and workplace injury rates so women can achieve global domination. Those pesky femi-Nazis, however, keep getting in the way, so it's up to the EMRAs to win the world over. And how do they do this? By threatening to gag, rape and gut bitches who dare to question their flimsy politics. Charlotte, the red-haired woman in the video below, was one of many protesters at a recent lecture sponsored by a men's rights group at the University of Toronto. A EMRA documented her attempts to read an article by our own Lindy West detailing how feminists also want to dismantle society's archaic definition of masculinity. Charlotte was pissed off and feisty because she was consistently interrupted as she tried to explain how feminists hate the patriarchy, not men themselves. Her message wasn't anti-men, it was anti-gender stereotypes and anti-oppression. But she wasn't subservient. And now she's paying for the crime of being a woman with a public opinion. Oh, poor old Shanty Binks, just trying so hard to educate us uninformed menfolk about the evils of patriarchy, and we just wouldn't listen. Here's the footage of her trying to educate us.
Is a list of the things that we're working towards. Now, if you would shut the fuck up for the 50th millionth time...
She could do with some work on her delivery. The author of the Jezebel piece would have us believe that poor old Shanty was just a strong woman with an opinion, who was being silenced by those rude misogynistic EMRAs. In fact, the EMRAs were trying to engage her in conversation, while she was intent on only having her voice heard as she read her list. Just a tip to Shanty and Jezebel, a conversation is where both parties speak. What Shanty was delivering was a lecture. Our Jezebel author also conveniently forgets to mention that Shanty was part of a protest that shut down the EMRA event by illegally pulling the fire alarm. How strange that the Jezebel author forgot to mention that. It's almost like she is trying to paint a negative picture of EMRAs, while only presenting a pure, unblemished version of feminism. But let's continue with the article. After the video received around 300,000 views in 1 week, thousands of EMRAs joined forces to harass and cyberstalk Charlotte. They've circulated her personal info, dredged up details about her past. One fellow told Charlotte that her dog who died years ago would be disappointed in her, and sent her messages threatening to rape and kill and rape her again. One of the more PG-rated ones promises that, "We will not rest until your unholy blood is shed." 300,000 views in a week? Are we to believe that only MRAs watch the video? How does she know the threats came from MRAs? Did they start each message with, "Hi, I'm an MRA, and I want to kill and rape you," in that order? Or do you think that maybe, just maybe, most, if not all of this is coming from outside the MRA community? I know this from first-hand experience, as the first ever video I posted on YouTube was about Shetty Binks, and that video has received over 2,500 views. If you look at the comments section, you will find that it's very different from the comments sections on the rest of my videos. My normal audience are MRAs, MGTOWs, gender egalitarians, gamergaters, anti-feminists, humanists, and even some feminists. Whereas the viewers for my Shetty Binks video belong to a much wider audience outside of those of us who normally discuss and debate gender politics. To claim that only MRAs sent death or rape threats to Shetty Binks is ludicrous. Her self-righteous bullshit clearly resonated with more than just MRAs. The author also ignores this same behavior in her own community. Maybe she should read this article on the very website she writes for, you know, to see the bigger picture. And that bigger picture is a simple one. People are idiots, and often resort to sending anonymous threats instead of making rational arguments. They exist in all communities, unfortunately, including men's rights, feminist, and social justice. They also exist in the world outside gender politics. Oh, and as for someone dredging up details about her dead dog, that information is on her YouTube page. It's public info. It's not like someone hired a private detective to go through her garbage. But back to cake. Q exposing men's rights activism, EMRA, a Facebook page that, you've probably guessed it, deconstructs the MRA movement and its myriad poorly conceived notions about gender, masculinity, sexuality and violence. So you are probably wondering how EMRA deconstructs the men's rights movement. One would think that maybe they pull apart men's rights videos or articles, the same way I do with feminist videos and articles. That would make sense, right? But of course, that would require an anti-MRA group to actually talk about men's rights activists. Oh no, apparently the best way to pull down the men's rights movement is to mainly, in fact almost exclusively, talk about non-MRAs. Makes perfect sense. Next. In the admin's own words, the page focuses on intersectional feminism from a radical working-class perspective, mental health issues, fostering a healthy attitude towards neurodiversity, rights for sex workers, people of color and the trans community. And the trans community? That's fantastic. I would expect there to be many posts condemning radical feminism, and its constant attacks on the trans community then, right? But of course not. That would require being critical of a nasty aspect of feminism, wouldn't it? Next. Talking to Cake, EMRA explained further about the group's history and dealing with men's rights activists. Well folks, it's been a long journey so far, but that was just the intro, and its rabbit hole of links. Next episode we'll jump right into the actual interview and pull that fucker apart. But until then, always remember, don't drink the poison Kool-Aid.
Tina from Tinder.
Yeah.
Hi. Hey, you look nice. I would say you look pretty, but I don't like to use gendered terms.
Well, actually, I hate that. I'd much rather pull the chair out for myself, thanks.
Oh. Yeah, me too. I hate that. Why can't women just pull out and sit on their own chairs?
Exactly. Yes, treat both sexes equally, right?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, hey,
Hello?
bro.
Chrissy, he looks just like his pics.
Bro, she's not a catfish this time, so.
And the best part, he's totally a feminist.
Bro, she's totally a men's rights activist.
Talk more later. Right. That was my sister. She calls me at least twice a day to talk about wedding dresses.
Oh, well, let me guess. The fiance got her a diamond.
Yes, exactly. It's like, who would want that? To get bribed into marriage?
Yeah, why does he have to spend the money?
Ugh, plus, now he owns her because she's taking his name.
Yeah, his name that he worked hard to craft. And now she just takes it? It's not like he could take her name.
Well, he could, but society.
What can I get you?
Oh, so I'm a woman, so I should order first?
Yeah, waiter. When was the last time you asked the man first? I'm offended.
Sorry?
Sorry enough for 2 margaritas on the house?
And 2 medium well steaks. Those will pay for it. Man, look at us, huh? We're exactly on the same page.
I know. I'm just so glad that we're both
Men's
feminists.
rights activists.
Wait, what?
What?
Men's
Feminists?
rights activists?
Are you joking?
Oh my God,
you're not joking?
How could this be happening? You're clearly a feminist.
I'm clearly EMRA. We just sat here and listed off a bunch of free male privileges like woman taking the man's name, woman taking the man's money. Pulling out the chairs!
Right, which makes females dependent on males.
Men get drafted. Women don't.
Which further makes females dependent on males.
All right, here are your steaks. Is everything all right, or?
Nothing's all right. For women,
including
just because I'm an opinionated woman, I'm not allowed to keep a man. Maybe I should just keep my mouth shut, right? Check your privilege.
No! I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think I'm falling in love with a feminazi.
I'm Jewish.
Look, all I'm trying to say is that women should be treated the same as men.
That's all I'm trying to say.
No, that's what I'm trying to say.
Do we both want the exact same thing?
But for different reasons?
Fuck! You're like that student who got the right answer, but all your work is wrong. And this teacher wants to fuck your misogynistic brains out.
You can fuck me all night long if you want, as long as you don't change your mind tomorrow morning and claim rape.
I'm no liar. I'm a strong female woman, and I know how to lean in.
Oh yeah. Good thing we both hate marriage, or else this would be domestic abuse.
Too bad the vast majority of domestic abuse is perpetrated by men, so yeah, maybe if I had a cock. You want me to have a cock?
Oh, you couldn't handle a cock.
Oh, you couldn't handle having a baby!
You couldn't handle running the world!
Oh, so you admit it!
No!
Yes! Mommy!
Daddy!
All right, and there's the check whenever you're ready.
You gonna get that?